Thank you for tuning in. We will be we will begin our webinar in 5 minutes. We are using Zoom audio and video conferencing software. For our audience, please note that we have temporarily disabled your audio for the meantime for better experience. May we also request everyone to turn off your video and set your screen to speaker view during the duration of the webinar. You may see the button at the upper right-hand corner of your Zoom screen. If you have any questions or queries for your speakers, please check the chat box and send the message directly to Tonya and Jen, and we will address it during the Q&A portion. Lastly, this webinar is recorded for documentation purposes. We will be starting in a few minutes. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in. We will begin our webinar in 5 minutes. We are using Zoom audio and video conferencing software today. For our audience, please note that we have temporarily disabled your audio for the meantime for better experience. May we request everyone to turn off your video and set your screen to speaker view during the duration of the webinar. You may see the button at the upper right-hand corner of your Zoom screen. If you have any questions or queries for the speakers, please click on the chat box and send directly to Carlene, and we will address it during the Q&A portion. Lastly, this webinar is recorded for documentation purposes. We will begin in a few minutes. Thank you. Consultation Caravan presented by Globe My Business. This caravan program, this caravan program, Globe afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's session of Business Consultation Caravan, presented by Globe My Business. This caravan program of Globe is nothing new for us in HRRAC. This was a program that we started last year where we partnered and we did data privacy caravan in the South and even in Mactan. So to proceed, who is Globe My Business? Globe My Business is a corporate arm of Globe Telecom that offers solutions relevant to the needs of the Philippine micro, small, and medium-sized business. Every business needs a partner that they can trust, a partner that only supports not only the daily operation, but invests heavily on the future success of our business. Globe My Business cater to the Filipino SMEs, not only with your telecom needs, but also with a digital solution to help you with your business operation, especially during this time of crisis. And did you know that there's a special occasion for SMEs like us? June 27 was declared International SME Day by UN and DTI, which honors the SMEs every second week of July. This year, Globe My Business once again joins in honor, and it's the time to recognize the resilience and strength of every Filipino entrepreneur, especially in the midst of these challenging times. Palakpakan po ninyo ang inyong mga sarili. At dahil dyan, ang Globe My Business ay sumasaludo sa ating mga Pinoy SMEs na nanatiling bukas at nakikisama sa inyo sa pagharap ng bagong bukas. I am Carmela Malagar, your moderator for today, a hotelier for almost 2 decades, and the Vice President of HRRAC for Allied. In line with the programs of HRRAC, we are here to present to you another fruitful webinar partnering with Globe. So what do we expect in this webinar? We have a lot of speakers, very powerful, and now they will be sharing their plans with us on how business can be recovered in this time of crisis and how to keep our business afloat. With the current updates and challenges Cebu is facing, especially with the ECQ status, we are now going to get some tips from our speakers. But part of the Globe Pakulo, we have poll questions. We have poll questions that will be flashed on your screen, and we will ask everyone to take participation. Before we start the program, we will flash some poll questions and encourage everyone to answer to help us understand your concerns regarding the topic today. Is your business ready for contactless or digital transactions? Please click on yes or no. Do you have any hesitation in adapting to contactless technology? Please click on the screen, yes or no, and we will give you the result after. What digital solutions do you have? Do your business use? Kindly select the different social media platforms that you have and submit, click on submit. Also, while we are doing this webinar, here's a tip. Be sure that your phones are ready and QR code scanners can be used because we will giving out some prizes later on. What is Business Consultation Caravan? There is one of my Globe Business ways of helping Filipino SMEs during the times of our ECQ. This is a series of webinars covering different relevant topics for you. All you need to do is watch out for the calendar in Globe My Business page on Facebook and follow the schedule, or just ask the Secretary of HRRAC. I tell you guys, the service to the SMEs through this learning activity gets better and better. Globe My Business will be offering more, so watch out for the next webinars that they will be hosting. Same with Globe, HRRAC is also hosting webinar sessions. So okay, without further ado, let us introduce our panelists. Our first speaker, he is behind. He's behind the success of Henry Hotel brand, a pioneering boutique hotel chain in the Philippines with multi-awarded properties in Manila and Cebu. A brand builder, he brought his properties to consistently win TripAdvisor awards and rank among top 25 hotels in the Philippines. His vision is to put more properties under Henry Hotel brand and continue its mission to provide consistent, like no other guest experience via people, place, and Philippines. In addition to its existing Manila and Cebu hotels, boutique resorts are going to be developed in Dumaguete, Coron, San Vicente, and El Nido. He also co-founded Philippine Tennis Academy that seeks to give underprivileged and deserving youngsters to opportunities to fulfill their tennis playing potential. At present, Hanky Lee is the president of EO, Entrepreneurs Organization, the world's most influential community of entrepreneurs. He is also the HRRAC Vice President for Hotels. Please welcome Henry Hanky Lee.
Hi, Carmela. Thank you for the wonderful introduction. I'm honored to be a part of this, no, because I really feel at home. First, I'm a proud supporter of the products of Globe My Business. I've worked together with Gail for quite a while now, and also I feel at home because I'm one of you. Just like what Carmela said, I am also an HRRAC member. I'm also serving HRRAC as one of the board of directors under the very capable leadership of our president this year, Carlos Suarez. No? And I'm here to just to share my experience as a as a hotelier who's trying to in these times trying to expand and trying to actually survive. No? And pandemic, this pandemic really has brought a lot of unexpected, challenges and uncertainties, right? But
Right.
as an entrepreneur, really, I see the other side of the coin, which is what? Which is
Right.
opportunity. And that's why this seminar is very apt, no? Because it's about digital transformation. No? So right
Yes.
now we're in the midst of a storm, right? So are we supposed to just stay still and get drenched and move away? No, I think not. Right. The idea
Right.
is really to move forward. Right.
Right.
And the way I look at this is, in terms of digital transformation, it's really about two things. No, the first one, Carmela, is connectivity. Right. So, wow, thank God for internet. Right. I mean, they say the internet is already part of Maslow's hierarchy, right? But I think given this pandemic, the internet has really become a necessity more and more. No, it's not only become a necessity; it's become a lifesaver and has proven really its values. No, and imagine we are all at home. As Cebu is in ECQ right now, right? Imagine we're all at home. There is no physical connectedness, right? But because of the internet, because of, let's say, managed Wi-Fi in our properties and in our homes, then connectedness can be still done, even though there is no physical connectedness, right? And also, aside from that, is thank God for our mobile phones, right? So I'm so happy that I have my mobile phone with me. Again, it's proven its use, right? And the being able to connect either via LTE has really proven a lifesaver.
Right.
Actually, we have a property that is supposed to open last April in Dumaguete, right? And that's actually how we reach out to our managers and our people is via mobile, right? Because and our managers are able to connect to our people using text as well, right? To our rank and file who are there around the province of Negros Oriental, right?
Right. Sir
And
Hanky,
yes.
I think we will reserve additional information. Allow me to introduce first the rest of the panelists.
Oh,
But
sorry.
yeah, that's fine. That's fine. We were excited also to find out
Yeah, I'm
that
excited
you,
eh.
yeah, we were very excited when we found out from Globe that you were the ambassador also for technology for hotels. So later on, we will get back to you. Allow me to introduce our speakers, then we will have you on the floor again. Okay? So our next speaker, William, has been guiding and helping enterprise clients of Globe in transforming their business digitally. He is also supporting our local government units in Visayas and Mindanao for upcoming Livable City Challenge, the likes of Dole Asia for the supply chain process, Mandaue Cebu City government for their paperless technology, Seven Seas and the Hilayan Resort and their experience for improvement, few hotels and resorts in Boracay and Mindanao, and many more. He is a digital transformation consultant of, of Globe Business, a certified management consultant, Association of Executive Manager in the Philippines. Allow me to welcome an 8 years of operation excellence practitioner and 12 years of Lean Six Sigma belt practitioner, green and black belt. Let's welcome William Brian Arnaiz, CMC.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone.
Yes.
Hope you're safe. Thanks,
Yes,
Carmela.
good afternoon, Brian. Later on, we'll have you back. Another speaker, we will just have a greeting from her experience and expertise or on business development, managing key accounts from public sector and logistics industry. In the last 2 years with Globe, she was tasked to identify and communicate relevant solutions based on the industry's trends and insight as segment marketing manager for various industries, and also the introduction of the GCash disbursement platform. In 2017, she moved to GCash, where she led the launch of QR deployments in key cities and alternative solutions for different industries. She's now the Assistant Vice President leading the aggregators, financial services, and insurance cluster of Mint Enterprise. Let's welcome Kathleen Pravia. May we hear some one-liner from you, Kathleen?
Hi everyone, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Kathleen. Another speaker, we have a graduate of International Business and Management Northwood, USA, proud Rotarian of Rotary Club of Cebu, General Manager of Cebu Grand Hotel, our very own HRRAC President. May we welcome our President Carlos Suarez. President Carlo, may we hear a short greeting from you?
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Globe, for partnering with HRRAC, and we look forward for a fruitful discussion, learning experience this afternoon. Thank you.
Last but not the least, we are very much privileged here in Globe and HRRAC webinar to have our USEC for Tourism, USEC Arturo P. Boncato. May we hear something from USEC Art? Just a small welcome note before we go to our discussion.
All right, thank you very much. Good afternoon, maayong hapon sa tanan, to our friends in Cebu, in Manila, all over the Philippines, and perhaps in some parts of the world. Good afternoon. Thank you for inviting the DOT to this afternoon session.
We are very much looking forward to this discussion, especially for the Q&A, USEC Art. We have a challenging situation now here in Cebu, and maybe you can share with us some critical points and tips on how we should operate our hotels and restaurants. So once again, as you can see, we have a very strong powerhouse speakers for today. So all right, for now, after answering our polls, we will show you the survey results before we start. To those who joined to us today, please note that we have disabled your audio and may we request for you to turn off your video and switch your Zoom screen to speaker view for better experience. If you have any questions and queries for your speakers, please click on the chat box and send the direct message to Carlene, and we will try to address it during the Q&A portion. And lastly, this webinar is recorded for documentation purposes. Okay, so now in front of you, you can see the results of the poll. This is quite interesting. This is already showing off the technology that Globe is trying to introduce to us. During a Zoom webinar, you can actually flash questions and have an interactive survey. So let's see the results. For our first question, is your business ready for a contactless digital transaction? 58% said yes. So we're still 50-50 for that. I don't know why. Is it because of technology, financial? But at least we see a 58% that they're quite comfortable moving towards digitalization. Next question. Do you have any hesitation in adapting to contactless technology? Here we see that 69% of our, we actually have about 60 participants now, and 69% of you mentioned that you are quite hesitant. And hopefully after this webinar, you will lessen that number and be more comfortable. And I'm sure Mr. Hanky Lee, our ambassador for hotels, will be able to share his actual experience. For the third question, let's see what are the platforms that's being used. So we have a quite number of website and social media. We know now to be socially informed that website, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter is very much the #1 leading information driver. But again, let me remind you that responsible posting is very important. Then Gcash, also we have 54. I think we have an expert who will discuss Gcash, and it's quite interesting now because when you buy things online, Gcash is really there. So we will know how to use this app. We have digital back office support, online offices, cloud services. We have 46% of you who's using those technology in the back office. So that is the survey result. And now this is the formal part of our discussion, and we will ask our panelists to prepare. But before we proceed, especially it's our privilege to have you, Sec Art, and I know you are quite aware of what's going on in Cebu, but the hotel and tourism industry, we were like going up already, but we took 2 steps back. We became in the ECQ level, and we started closing the malls and the restaurants. Hotels, about 30% of our members went on temporary shutdown for the meantime of the quarantine stage. So we also have hotels operating, but servicing to the quarantine OFWs that are coming back. So these are the situation that we have right now, and maybe we can have an interesting views of exchange of ideas during the Q&A portion. So now as we proceed to our first speaker, moving towards the next step, let's hear. Let's. For our first discussion, he will talk about the modern transformation of hospitality and restaurant industry. Let us welcome William Brian Arnaiz. So, Sir Brian?
Yep.
You may have the floor.
All right. I'm going to share my screen now.
Sure.
So good afternoon, everyone. Hope everyone is safe in their respected houses and their homes, and hope you will get some insights out of my presentation this afternoon. Okay, so welcome to Modern Transformation for Hospitality Industry. Again, my name is William. I'm from Globe Enterprise Group, and I'm with the Digital Transformation Consulting team. So first, let's try to look at the hospitality trends and outlook. So for the first one we need to tackle on is what are the effects of COVID-19? So the first one is deferred supply completion. Tourists take a dip. So meaning we don't have any tourists coming in. We don't allow any visitors from different islands of the Philippines come into different islands of the Philippines. Then we also shut down our operations, and also no reservations are to be made in ECQ and during MECQ. So these are one of the challenges we are facing right now. Next, let's look at the online gaming, because definitely one of our hotels house their own casinos and POGOs. So supply limitations and stricter policies for POGOs in the Philippines, and closed casinos in hotels due to stop operations. So these are now the outlook and the trends. Let's look at the keeping afloat. So lost control measures. All hotels and hospitality industries right now are making sure that they have total control of the lost damages, and they need to make sure that they are afloat. Also, freeze hiring is going on right now, or even laying off employees, so workforce reduction. Then we also have postponing of capital expenditures, mandatory clearing of paid leaves, reduced operating hours, general cleaning, small in-house renovations, essential workers housing, quarantine facility, and no daily room cleaning. The fourth one is the sales and marketing strategy. So sales promotions in the form of bundled packages. Now that includes complimentary food, drinks, and services that could entice, guests. Employed additional marketing efforts for the marketing team, and reduced room rates to induce demand. And lastly, government intervention. So this is where the Department of Tourism supports via marketing campaigns promoting local tourism. Kasi it's very difficult right now to entice foreign nationals to come or to visit the Philippines. Waive collection for accreditation fees from new and renewing enterprises for the year 2020. And waiver for participation fees of international fairs and exhibits until 2021. And low interest loans from DBP and Land Bank, just to help our hotel industry here in the Philippines, as well and in Visayas. So let me run through you to the topics I'm going to discuss for modern transformation. First, let's look at the road to the new normal, and then we'll look at the digital capability maturity model, where this is the best time for us to assess ourselves, where we are right now in terms of maturity in adapting technology. And let's look at what is this digital transformation. And because of that digital transformation, we have now the digital consumer. This is where the transformation starts. Now, this is based on the demands of our digital consumer. And the next one would be, what are the possible solutions that we could use or apply with the new normal? So let's proceed to the road to new normal. So as you can see, during pre-pandemic or before ECQ, right, our priority goal was purely growth and revenue, increased revenue, increased growth. Our business stability was very high, right? Growth is also very high, hiring was also very high, workforce reduction could be low or even none. And here, digital maturity is quite low, right? Because there's still certain hesitations on adapting technology. Now, during the pandemic, which we are currently right now, ECQ, right? Our priority here is more on survival and safety of everyone, including our employees. It's widespread infection and it impacts our business. So here, business stability is very low, growth and hiring, it's zero or even none. Workforce reduction is very high. We try to lay off employees because we can no longer support them. And then digital maturity is from low or medium. From here, we will be realizing what are the things that could help us, right, during this pandemic. And we tend to, for sure, all of you are already assessing where you are right now in terms of your goals and targets. Now let's move on to the post-pandemic. After all of these challenges we are facing right now subsides, or even this virus could be eradicated, we will now be adapting to the new normal, and the business will return. And this is the best time to check, no? And the business stability would increase from low to high, from growth from none to high. Hiring will be hiring a lot of people, and for those we laid off, we might, if they still haven't found a job, maybe we could recall them and work to us again. And then workforce reduction is very low, and digital maturity here, after we have a realization during the pandemic, our digital maturity becomes medium or high. So let's check with our capability maturity model. What is this? This is one way of assessing ourselves where we are right now in terms of digital maturity. Are we ready to adopt different technologies, especially contactless technology? Now, digital capability maturity model, these are the things that you need to assess yourselves. And today is the best time, right? Because our operations is currently on hold, and today is the best time to assess ourselves where we are right now in terms of capability maturity model. And this maturity model has categories, the names, the likes of digital customer experience management. This is more on the customer journeys of our guests. What are their experiences? How's their journey from awareness until post services or after they check out from the hotels? The next one is digital channel management. Are we managing enough the different channels that we have right now? Integrating different kinds of platforms to make it a seamless, single platform for all our customers. Digital development and operations. How mature are we in doing projects and improvement in our daily operations? Next one is digital commerce. Our different platforms, our mobile apps. Did we manage? Did we have enough data to understand the behavior of our guests? Next one, digital marketing. Is our digital marketers have strategies, to how to attract new guests? And lastly, social interaction. How are we going to manage social crisis? Those Facebook posts, any social media posts that could hamper our reputation, how are we managing that? So these are the categories for assessing ourselves for a digital capability maturity model. And each of these categories have its own parameters. And if you want to know what are those parameters, please let me know in our breakout session later on. Now, let's proceed to digital transformation. So in the likes of Globe, digital transformation is never finished. No, it is a journey. So Globe started our transformation since 2006, and until now, we're not yet done. We're still journeying our technology and improve our services and products. And that is why digital transformation, it is a journey and it's never finished. And transformation starts with real change. So if you will not adapt, you might be left behind later on. So digital transformation, according to International Data Corporation, digital transformation is the approach by which private and public sector drive changes in their business models and ecosystems by leveraging digital competencies, or in other words, right? It's not only focused on transforming your IT infrastructure, but actually a total transformation of your company from the leaders down to the employees. Here are the pillars of the modern business transformation. As you can see here on my slide, I put here an emphasis on guest experience transformation. Why is it? It's because all of that transformation from different businesses always starts with guest experience. What are the customers are telling us? Who are our customers? What are their demands? We change our business depending on the demands of our guests, right? So that's why guest experience transformation is always the first step to transform our business, and followed by leadership transformation. Leadership transformation should have a vision on where you want to go in terms of digital capabilities. Where do you want to be in terms of digital adaptability? And leaders should be also be responsible, accountable in terms of innovations and governance of the entire transformation of the business. Followed by IT transformation. This is where you assess your current capability in terms of IT infrastructure. If you are currently on premise where you house your own servers, that would be quite difficult later on where Internet of Things will come in. And then IT transformation is one also of the best tool for you to make a seamless experience for your guests from mobile check-in until checkout. And then business transformation, this is where you transform yourselves from different operating models, from traditional way you do business until you adapt to digital or when you adapt digital technologies. And then we also need to transform our workforce. We need to train them. We need to prepare them for these new technologies and improve our services through our workforce transformations. Now, as I've said earlier, that all transformations start with the guest experience or our consumer. So let us understand the new consumer right now. We call it the digital consumer. And these digital consumers have these characteristics. So number one, they want to be always on, right? If you notice, if you're on postpaid plan or even on prepaid plan, you are always connected or you're always online. Followed by real time. They want instant information right away, right? If you don't want, or if your information, or if any information the customer demands takes a little while, they move on to another competitor, right? And then on demand, customer wants any services based on their demand or anytime at their disposal. And then everything should be self-service, right? As we the likes of the banks, the likes of mobile check-in, everything should be done self-service using a technology. And then followed by one screen. All, as I said, as I mentioned earlier, you have different platforms, you have different systems, and you need to integrate that in one to make it one screen for our customers. Followed by social media. Most of our consumers and guests are on social media, from YouTube to Twitter, to Facebook, to Instagram, and even to LinkedIn. Most of our customers are there, and that's the best way to reach out to our guests. And lastly, in the cloud. Because in the cloud, you can scale anytime. You can scale up and you can scale down. And it's a matter of a button. So if you're still having on-premise, you might want to reconsider checking on the cloud technology, where the experience of your different systems and different technologies that you are going to apply later on, cloud is the best way to do it. Now, according to Deloitte, based on their research and survey, this is how we improve our guest experience. So the first one is what we call engage me. It means that they engage me in a personalized and authentic and attentive way. This means that we need to allow our front desk to be more attentive, to be more to be more attentive and to be more personalized when they provide their services. According to them, 66% wants their experience be personalized. The next one is what we call hear me. 62% of their guests says that they listen to my needs, empathize with my situation, and follow through. So this means that when they need help, the hotel employees are there to help them right away and listen to them and eventually unsolve their concerns. The next one is empower me. Empower me means that they provide me with the opportunities and access to drive my experience the way I want it. So proactively recommending what are our promos, what are different kinds of services that we offer to them, proactively providing them opportunities. The next one is what we call delight me. 56 of them says that they created moments that surprised me and exceeded my expectations. This is where the during stay experience comes in. Their experience in your hotel, on their restaurant, the total journey of going to your hotel. Next one, know me. They know and remember my preferences and my needs. 65%, all of them were shocked that every time that they transact with your hotel, with any restaurants or cafes, they already know what you always order, right? So that's the best way to make your customer, or to remember your customers. Here are the demographics that we have now in the Philippines. In January 2020, we're around 108 million population. And considering the population for mobile phones, which is around 173 million, that is around 159% versus our population. Internet users is around 73 million penetration, and active social media users is around 73 million. Considering this kind of demographics, you might want to consider this time that we need to reevaluate and reassess again when in adapting technologies. Here are also the breakdown for device ownership. For mobile phones, there are around 94%, any type. And then smartphones, we have this 93%. And then non-smartphone, mobile phone, around 14%. Laptops is around 67%, tablet is around 40%. Now, considering all of this, you might want to consider, okay, this might be the best time for us to adapt technologies, and it's also the best time for us to strategize in terms of our marketing. Here are the age demographics of our possible or prospect consumers, right? If you check, there are around from 18 years old to 44 or to 34 years old. You might want to consider what are their current behavior, what are their current expenses, right? This is through targeted marketing. So you might want to check on that as well. So that's it. That's our digital consumer. So if you are able to understand your guests, the behavior of your guests, you might be able to come up with a new solution, even with a new revenue stream that could help your business flourish. Now, here are the several digital solutions that you could adapt for your business. So the first one is what we have: mobile apps. We have also Internet of Things. We have digital marketing. We have big data, and we have automation. And also the new ones is what we call virtual reality and augmented reality. But for this one, let's talk about first the mobile apps. For mobile apps, we're looking at contact tracing. This is now the new emerging technology for all of us to help trace, not trace if there will be a possible COVID-19 patient. It's easy for us to recall who are those customers who came in our restaurants or cafes or in our hotels in the particular area, and we might inform them to do some COVID testing, right? So this is very helpful for everyone. And then we also have food ordering. Since we are on ECQ, most of the apps right now that being accessed by our consumers are Lalamove, GrabFood, and Foodpanda. These are now the most downloaded and most accessed applications during ECQ. Next, we also have a mobile check-in technology where there will be contactless, right? And if you want to have a virtual receptionist, you can place something television or a monitor for your virtual receptionist, where they can check in or enter their confirmation number for their bookings later on. And then we also have cashless. This is where our product called GCash comes in. GCash came in with a card and also with a mobile app. You can swipe using the card. It acts like a credit card or even a debit card, right? For contactless as well, we have also QR payments. Later on, this will be discussed with my colleague, Len. And then we also have Seats. This app, Seats, is for seats reservation. And this is the time where our customers can visit, and this is timed, right? The customer cannot stay there for 3 to 4 hours. So for every reservation, it's timed depending on your strategy. If you want to be in 30 minutes, an hour, or an hour and a half, you can do that here on the seats. This is a seat reservation app. And then of course, your own hotel applications. You have to develop this. If you have a developer in your IT team, you may want to develop your own hotel applications, and it should be, my recommendation should be housed in the cloud, because it will be quite challenging for customers, especially with the experience, you know, when you access, when every time they access application, if it's on-prem, because the bandwidth will be compromised. So that's the mobile application solutions. Now, let's take a look for digital marketing. So for digital marketing, if you're considering and if you're looking at your targeted markets, right, you need to make sure that every search engine, you will always be on the top. So this is where SEO comes in. We call it the search engine optimize or search engine optimization. So every possible guests, before they book in your hotel, they normally search what are the 5-star hotels in Cebu. And you need to make sure that your hotel should be the first one on the list that appears. So that's where SEO technology comes in. And we also have, of course, the social media platform where most of our consumers or our customers are. So we have to push any promos, any bundled services, especially after this pandemic, when we try to go back to or adapting now to the new normal, we need to reach out to our consumers via social media platforms. Then we also have chatbots. Chatbots normally is run by or is powered by artificial intelligence and machine learning. So every inquiry done by your consumer is done by a chatbot, right? And if there will be escalations, then someone will just take over about the inquiry. And of course, targeted campaigns. Once you have information, once you have data about your customers, then you might want to target what are their what kind of activities that they enjoyed every time they travel. So once you have that kind of data, you are able to target those customers. That's for digital marketing. For Internet of Things, of course, the famous intelligent rooms. Later on, sooner or later, you will be adapting. These solutions where customers have total control of any amenities within the room, the likes of air conditioning, lighting, right? If they want bright, if they want low light, they have total control. Water heater, their mini bar, right? Coffee maker. If you have microwave, it should be connected over the internet. And then entertainment. Cable right now is a dying industry, and what disrupt them right now are the on-demand entertainment, the likes of Netflix, Fox Plus, HBO Go. Those are the disruptor of these industries. And if the hospitality industry will try to adapt or providing vouchers to their guests just to open Netflix, or if you pre-installed already Netflix and other online streaming content, then they can use their own access to view movies, you know, during their stay on your hotel. And then mobile check-in and check-out. So cardless or keyless entry to your respective hotels, which will be able to help us, you know, to prevent spreading of any viruses or any bacteria. Cardless and keyless technology would be also a great technology solution for the new normal. And everything is connected over the internet. And once we mention that it's connected to the internet, we'll be having a lot of data, volumes of data. And from that data, we'll be able to understand the behavior of our customers. Now let's move on to automation. Now automation is about how are we going to make seamless experience as well for our guests. From thermal scanning, right? Right now, people are it's a traditional way of doing scanning. There will be persons scanning it, but it's not reading the temperature at all, right? So with this thermal scanning technology, which is operated also by artificial intelligence, you will be able to be notified that there are some guests who is more than the required temperature. Then we also have loyalty. From the moment they from the moment they check out, their points will be automatically be credited to their account. So that will be for your loyalty. Parking, right? So automated on your parking. So every guest who will bring their own cars have their designated parking space, and everything is automated. It could be via QR code scanning, or it could be a keyless entry scanning for your parking. Doors, no? Normally doors should be automated as well. The sliding doors, I think some of the hotels are already doing this. This is also contactless, right? So it's sensor or laser enabled solution. And then of course the check-in and check-out. Now this is where the exciting part comes in, because this is where big data analytics comes in. With all of those Internet of Things connected, and you have vast amount and volume of data in your hands, you have the power to create new products and services or other revenue streams based on your data. How are you currently playing with your data? It's not just purely on P&L. It's not just purely on analyzing guest experience, but you have to go deeper on what kind of behavior, what kind of services they avail, what kind of food they ordered from the menu. Why is it a lot of people are ordering or having or availing this kind of service in a hotel? So that later on, with those guests, you will be able to create promos, right, for other guests to avail this kind of products in your properties. And then, as I mentioned earlier, customer behavior. If you have that data, you'll be able to understand the behavior of your guests. Customer experience, you'll be able to improve your journey of your guest for the entire hospitality customer journey map. And then marketing will be able to target right away who are the target, who are the markets, right, for hotels, especially if they are traveling for business, or even if they're traveling for leisure. You'll be able to get those data from big data analytics. Now, I'm going to show you video. So before I end my slide, I'm going to show you some videos. Who are these current hotels who are adapting intelligent homes or smart homes and other technologies that they're using right now in their properties? Currently adapted by Mega World on their Albany properties. I'm going to show you another video for mobile app. And lastly, So the hospitality industry is an integral part of livable cities where most of the local governments now in the entire Philippines are participating in the challenge for livable cities. And this is sponsored by USAID, Ayala Group of Companies, and Mint, and among others. And we're targeting Cebu City could be the next intelligent city. So my last slide, I would like to challenge you this. Would you embrace and stay relevant or pass and be left behind? Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, William. That was a very thorough presentation. You started off by reminiscing the journey of the hotel industry here in Cebu. Ang pagkalisod na among giagihan gikan sa pagpangita og customer na gamay hangtod sa ang uban they opted to close. And then you shared with us the science actually of the digital technology phase. We saw some statistical information, and I know this is recorded, right? So you mentioned, William, in the latter part of our discussion, will you also stay behind for those people who would have some questions or ask about the statistics? But of course, okay, yes. So we would also encourage everyone, if you have any questions about the presentation, to make use of the chat box and send the message to Carlene or to everybody, and we will try to answer all the questions. So that was for the first presentation. Then we proceed to the next one. We will be hearing another business solution that we can use during cashless transactions. This one is starting to be the new option for payment method. So while listening to her presentation, I would also want to give a tip to our members who are online and watching. I suggest that you have to make sure you have GCash on your phone installed, because there will be some prizes to be given out during this webinar. So make sure you're ready for those GCash ready for the prizes. So without any further ado, let me welcome the expert for GCash, Ms. Kathleen Pavia.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Kathleen. I think you're still in mute. Can we have Kathleen on audio, please?
Hello.
Yeah. There, we have you now. Kath, it's still on mute again. I think the technology is working on you. Yes. Can we hear you? Nope. There. I hope. There you go.
Okay. Hold on. Let me just mute the other.
Yes. Usually that's, after doing so many Zooms and webinar, you try to attempt to have two gadgets, but it really bounces off. So might as well try to put the other one on mute.
All right.
Okay.
Hear me?
Yes.
Hi, great. And you guys can see my screen?
Yes, we can see your PowerPoint presentation.
All right, great. Okay, so let me start by just, I guess, tapping into what William has already mentioned. So what the new norm will be for hotels, restaurants, and resorts for that matter. So before, when we think about this type of industries or this type of institutions, the customers would always think when they want to go into a hotel or resort or restaurant, how can this establishment pamper me, right? But with the new norm or after the situation that we're in, the new concern or new question now for customers would be, how can you keep me safe? So a lot of the initiatives, I think, of hotels, resorts, and restaurants should be answering this question or this new need of the customers that they will eventually have. And I read this article in, I think that was Manila Bulletin, on what specific hotels in Resorts World Manila are trying to implement. And one of them is a concept called work from hotel. So during the pandemic, right, the work from home concept is very prevalent across all industries, across all offices. So with a work from hotel type of concept, it's basically opening up the hotels or the resorts or even restaurants for people to work in. So to utilize this available space, whether these are conference rooms or even the actual rooms inside the hotel, why not make it a place for people to work in? And this will include, because typically if you book in a hotel or resort, it will be an overnight stay, right? So why not have like day rates made available for, make it like a norm, not just for specific hotels and resorts, but even across all. So by having this, so people can feel safe that they don't need to crowd inside an office, especially if the space is very limited. So they can tap or they can use the hotels and resorts for this. So another concept that was mentioned in the article is a clean stay seal. So this can mean a literal seal, or it can be more obvious in terms of the procedures that the establishments implement. So from, for example, the thermal checks when you enter the door, the rag that you need to step on to make sure that your shoes are clean. Or this can be physical seals, like for example, when you get inside the room, you'll have like a note already indicated on the bed on how that material was properly cleaned. You look at, for example, the phones. What are the typical items that a customer would be holding, right, or will be using inside the room? And you will have a clean stay seal on these items to ensure and to make your customers feel that they are safe in your establishments. But I guess what I'm here to focus on is really on doing contactless transactions within your establishments. And William mentioned on how this can be applied upon booking. So probably a lot of you may have already online sites and how you can already enforce payment upon booking, and so that it will lessen the need for face-to-face or physical transactions upon checking in or upon checking out just to pay certain transactions. And of course, coming into your hotel, contactless transactions can also mean the ordering and again, payment of the orders of the food or even other items that they might be availing. And this will also come in, for example, tips. Why not give tips to your bellman, to your concierge, or to other helpers in the establishments via contactless payments or contactless transactions. So a lot of the articles that you may read in online or in newspapers might be very focused on how establishment can keep their customers safe when they're inside their institutions or inside their establishments. But I think one of the things that should also be mentioned is how companies or this hotels, restaurants, and resorts should be also thinking about how they will enable and keep their employees safe as well by enabling them to have digital financial transactions as well. So I think this is aligned with one of DOT's parameters on when hotels and resorts start to open their doors again on how they should ensure work-life balance for their employees. And I think aside from the rotational type of setup to ensure that they have good rest, it's also enabling them to lessen physical or face-to-face transactions when they do their day-to-day activities. So I guess the next question is, like what William again mentioned, is the public, are the customers, are the employees ready for digital transactions? So here in GCash, very specifically, we say yes. So if you look at your Google Play Store, because we usually use Google Play because majority of Filipinos will be using an Android app. But of course, there are also users of iPhones. But if we look at your Google Play Store, you would see that GCash is actually always top 10 free app in the Google Play Store. I think last night when I checked it we were top 5. So we would usually play within the top 10 list of apps in Google Play. And if you look at the finance app part or category, we're actually number 1. So we have been gaining definitely more users day on day. So in the past months, we've seen 100% increase in app registrations. And very specific to use cases, we've seen at least 70% increase in transaction count on relevant use cases such as sending money or the P2P. So I don't know if you're part of Viber groups or Telegram groups or WhatsApp groups, even Facebook pages wherein there are direct sellers selling on these platforms, and one of their modes for payment would be GCash. So I do see a lot of them already accepting GCash, and that's usually through send money or P2P type of transactions. Then, of course, you would have send to bank. So I mentioned a lot of people offering or selling, and aside from GCash, of course, they will have bank accounts to receive payments. And with GCash, you can also send money to different bank accounts via InstaPay, and it's for free as well. So the third one would be on online payments. So this will be your web-based type of transactions or payments. But we've also seen an increase in adoption when it comes to QR. So if you remember, QR payments before used to be applicable if you have a physical store, right? So you have that QR displayed on the cashier parts and the customer scan that. But a lot of our customers are adopting that kind of technology now. And what they're doing instead is making that QR available in their Facebook page, in their websites, so that people can scan the QR. And it makes it easier to adapt cashless payments as well. So very specific to Cebu, these are just some of the partners that we already have that are accepting QR payments. So you have your Nature Spring for deliveries, so this is available online. Prince, also offering deliveries and GCash as payment, and 10DC. So these are just some examples. And we see a significant growth as well in terms of user, because opening a GCash wallet, unlike I guess your typical bank account, is very quick and easy. So before, in case you still don't know, we are telco agnostic. That means you can open a GCash account even if you're a Smart, Sun, or Talk and Text subscriber. But of course, our who we promote more and who we would love more for you to use would be Globe. And then once you have, of course, just a SIM number, you can already download and register via GCash through the Google Play Store or through the Apple Store, and it's free again to download. And then once you've downloaded and you register, so we have an in-app KYC, eKYC platform that is able to verify your account within 5 minutes. So you will, or even less actually nowadays. So you will already receive an SMS confirmation that your account is fully verified. And once you're verified, you can now start cashing in to your account so that you can start using your GCash wallet already. And you can do this through our multiple partner outlets that you see on the screen. But what we really recommend, again, to lessen the face-to-face type of transaction is through online cash-in. So this can be done by linking, for example, your BPI or Union Bank account or any debit card that is locally issued and that is a MasterCard or Visa for you to make cashing in easier and convenient for you. So what we are building here in GCash is really a cashless nation leading to finance for all. So this is a preview of the ecosystem that we're trying to build. So I mentioned how we're trying to make cashing in or funding your wallet easy. And one of the things that companies can do this is through payroll, which I'll discuss later on. So we do have business platforms or business solutions that can enable your businesses, which includes our payroll platform. But other payments or other transactions that you can do inside the GCash app will be your day-to-day type of payment. So I mentioned already send money, bank transfers, but you can also do your top-ups for any telco through the GCash app. I think there's also exclusive SKUs for Globe and TM subscribers that are available inside the app. So I think one of them that we recently promoted is the Go Learn 50. So it's very specific if you have kids, for example, or nephews at home that are studying. So the Go Learn 50 is a special SKU that you can only avail via GCash. So it gives you access to your, I think, Wikipedia and other school-related or education-related sites. And then, so you can expect definitely other exclusive SKUs when you use GCash and when you use Globe as your telco provider. So for bills payment, this will be your, we do have a lot, I think around 400, even more billers already inside the GCash app. So this includes, if you're in Cebu, so this will include your BECO, your MCWD, and I think soon MECO will also be part of our list. But of course, Globe is one of our partners that are there. So if you need to pay your postpaid lines, your broadband connections, you can also do that inside the app. So you can explore definitely, even credit cards, insurance, even some government institutions or government fees you can pay via the GCash app. And then you also have, of course, I mentioned already QR and then booking online. But what really separates us with versus other financial institutions or even other e-wallets are our financial services. So we have the G Credit. So it's a trust-based type of credit scoring. So it means as you use your GCash wallet more, you eventually earn a credit score. And with that credit score, there's an equivalent credit line. So that means even if you don't have any balance inside your GCash wallet, you can use that credit line to pay bills or to pay QR in any of our partner merchants as well. And then aside from that, I hope a lot of you have already done GSave. So GSave is in partnership with CIMB. So that's our partner bank. And they are also PDIC in short. So which means up to 500,000, the savings or the deposits that you do are safe. And we're proud to say that the interest rate per annum when you open a GSave account is actually 3.1%. So that's one of the highest, if not the highest in the industry. And that does not require any maintaining balance. So you can deposit initially 1 peso or 10 pesos and keep it that way. And the applicable interest rate would still be 3.1%. And then in case you also don't know, we also have an investment portfolio already inside the GCash app. So for as low as 50 pesos, you can open an investment account and start investing as well. And this is in partnership with Atram. So they are our money market fund manager. And I think for the past year or so, the performance of that market has been around 3 to 4% as well. So these financial services are really what separate us because it makes opening an account very accessible. So no need to go to a physical branch or store. How you manage your account, deposit, withdrawals can be done through the GCash app as well. So I mentioned payroll. So what's the significance of payroll now? So syempre, before you can do any of these transactions, whether it's your payments, whether it's allowing GSave or opening a GSave account or opening an investment account, of course, you need to have money inside your wallet. And I mentioned earlier how companies should also be thinking on how they can empower their employees. And by doing disbursements via GCash, this is I guess, a non-traditional way to do it because I believe a majority of you would be doing it already via banks, which is fine. But you can always consider our platform as either a supplementary or as a BCP type of platform in case there are downtimes with your partner banks. So you can use us as BCP. But more importantly, you can also use us to disburse, even just partially, to your employees to enable them to do the digital financial transactions that I just mentioned. So you can do the incentives or allowances via GCash, or you can do it percentage, for example, of your employees' allowances to be disbursed via GCash, so that easily month on month they do have immediate funds already in their GCash wallet that will enable them to send money, build their savings account, or even do bank transfers to their families. Because I think, especially on the hotel and restaurant sector now, there might be a significant percentage of your employees that are not really from the city or from the area where your establishments are. So they might be coming from provinces, for example, and a lot of them may be supporting their own families or sending monies. So by doing this also, you are enable them to do the local remittances to their families via GCash. So it lessens, again, them going out, them doing physical transactions, them handling money. So everything, you give that convenience to enable your employees to do those kind of transactions when you do disbursements via GCash. So our platform doesn't require any maintaining balance. So you can fund your wallet, your corporate wallet, with the same amount that you need to disperse and keep it at zero until such time that you need to disperse again. And you can also onboard, because I think some of the pain points as well when you're doing bank is that it may take time before an account can be opened or the cards can be given. So from experience, I think it will take around 2 to 4 weeks for certain banks to deliver. But with us, you can onboard and create accounts already through the platform. And there's an option for you to have cards at hand already that you can easily distribute to your employees. And there are, of course, multiple security features in the platform to ensure that your funds or the access is secure, but still making it convenient for you to access the platform by making it accessible through a mobile phone or a mobile tablet for approvals. So there's also no cutoff since you have the full control over the platform. As long as your corporate wallet is funded, you can actually disburse on a weekend, on a holiday. You can disburse emergency funds, for example, to your employees anytime, anywhere, as long as you have an access to internet or to a mobile device where you can log in. So the second business solution, type of business solutions we have is, of course, on payments. So I mentioned already QR payments. There's also an option for if you have devices that you would want to integrate the QR already, because I think some might be sensitive in terms of adding another collateral, for example, in their counters. But if you have device, you can also have the option to integrate our QRs in your device so that it makes it consolidated. And then online payment acceptance via GCash is also available already. So we usually encourage our partners to go through our partner aggregators, our partner internet payment gateways, so the likes of Finamex, DragonPay. And I would think for a number of you who already have an online website who are accepting credit card or debit card payments, they may likely be a partner aggregator already for us. So you can definitely consult later on if those are already partners of ours, and it's a matter of just activating GCash as another mode of payment for your company. So another is the in-app bill payment. So this is usually for recurring payments. So this may not be as applicable for your industry, but this is definitely another type of payment channel or payment solution for GCash. What I would be focusing more is on QR payment experience, because this would be the easiest to deploy. So this would be applicable for restaurants. So, and even of course the resorts or hotels who may have counters that will accept any type of payment, whether that's your concierge or your lobby area, or even the restaurants within the hotels or resorts, right? So definitely the QR payment is very easy to deploy. So this can be upon receipt of complete documents, we can deploy this within 5 to 7 days. And we can initially issue the soft copy so that you can print it on your own. And you can also deploy it, for example, inside the rooms of your hotels or restaurants so that people don't need to physically go, for example, at the lobby just to pay. So how the experience is that, of course, you log into the GCash app, you select the scan to pay or scan QR icon, and then you scan the actual QR, which will be similar to what you see on the screen right now. And then the amount will be indicated in the space provided, and you will have the option to select whether you want to use your existing GCash fund or use your G credit to pay, and then confirm the payment. So there's also another feature now inside the GCash app, in case you haven't noticed. You can already save your QR. This, for example, this QR, you can save it in your gallery so that you can already upload the image in the scan to pay option. So you don't need another device to scan the QR or another item. So you can just save it and upload it when you use your GCash app. So on the customer experience side, so they will receive a confirmation on the payment, which will reflect the amount paid, who's the merchant they're paying for, the date and time, of course, of the payment, and the remaining balance of their account. And there's a reference number that will also match what the merchant will also be receiving via SMS. And the same details will be reflected on the merchant side. Specific to settlement and reporting, so settlement happens the next banking day. So what that means is, for example, today is Tuesday. So what all transactions that came in from 12:01 a.m. to 11:59 p.m. will be settled tomorrow. But if in case, for example, it's a Friday today, since it's a weekend tomorrow, the settlement of all transactions today will be done on Monday. But in terms of transaction reporting, you would always receive the transaction report the following day, regardless if the next day is a holiday or a weekend, so that you will be able to check all transactions. And another feature that's nice about the QR payment is that you can also create your voucher programs or for marketing promos. So this is a sample QR that you can attach to your key cards or deploy to your customers. And this can be done two ways. So one is we call a transactional type of voucher. So this usually promotes a second transaction or a repeat transaction. So how it works is that once your customers pay via QR, they will receive a QR voucher that they can use in their next visit. So that's something that can be used by your company as well. The second one is a promo voucher. This means they would need to scan first the promo voucher and then use it prior to payment. So this will be on the first transaction that where the QR voucher will be applicable or used. And you can use this promo vouchers for seasonal promos, let's say very specific to an event like Halloween, Christmas, or New Year, while transactional vouchers can be for retention or for rewards and loyalty programs of your companies. So yeah, so that's it for the different business solutions that we have, and I think that are very relatable and applicable to the hotel, restaurants, and resorts industries.
That's right, Kathleen. And actually, you forgot one more use for the GCash.
What is
That's
it?
that's for the giveaways that we are expecting to receive later on, the when we have the raffle.
Yes.
So for our members who are tuned in, we still have three more speakers that will be discussing the topics which is more closer to our hearts. So as we call in our next speaker, he will be sharing with us the application of this technology in his hotel. We would like to welcome our board of director and the Globe My Ambassador, Mr. Hanky Lee. Mr. Hanky, it's your turn. This time, Sir Hanky will be able to share his journey. What are the technologies that he implemented in his hotel? So let's,
Yeah.
yes. Sir Hanky, you're still
Yeah.
on mute
Okay.
there.
Okay. So I'm okay. I'm muted and you can see me now, right? So,
Yes, very much.
I apologize that I got too carried away,
No worries.
Like what I said, I am one of you. I also have operations in Cebu, in Manila, and I'm a hotelier, and basically I'm very passionate about what I do, right? And if I may share, right now what we're thinking is we're in the midst of a storm, right? And then this storm has brought unprecedented challenges and uncertainties to all of us, not only hotels but resorts, but not only in Cebu but all around the Philippines, right? And the idea is we have just basically two choices. One is to surrender and then not do anything, and then the other is really to soldier on and try to weather the storm, right? And that's actually our mindset now with the Henrys. It's how can we do things, how can we weather the storm, and then how can we prepare, right? And prepare for the future, right? And it's really a reframe, no? It's really how can we, in every crisis, that's why they say in every crisis there's an opportunity, and it's an opportunity for us to adapt and to innovate, and that's where we are right now. It's really how do we weather the storm, and then how do we prepare, and we prepare by trying to to adapt and innovate. There's no better time but today, right? And that's why I'm, when I was sharing kanina, I was really sharing that I'm grateful for basically two things. No, it's one is connectivity, and the other one is the online platforms that we have, right? So the first one is connectivity. It's this, basically it's internet, right? I was saying in Maslow's levels of hierarchy, that basically internet has muscled its way in, right? It's become a necessity. It's become valuable. It's a lifesaver, right? And there's no other time than today than to be connected, right? We are not physically connected, yet we are connected via Zoom. Example, no, that's one of the platforms that there is, right? So we are doing this. We are trying to help each other. We are trying to stay connected, and that's why we are here on this call right now, right? And then the other one is the reliability of this Globe network, right? So I think I mentioned that we have a project also in Dumaguete. So we have not had internet connection there yet, and the way we talk to our resident manager is via Globe and via LTE, and she's able to talk to all of our rank and file through text, right? Because right now they are now scattered all over Negros Oriental, right? And then for the second is really I'm grateful for online platforms. So and it's really, there's no other time than today to embrace them, so we can all move forward, so we can all continue working, so we can all continue to communicate, right? And that's one of them is the use of G Suite, right? I mean, Google has, wow, I mean the with G Suite, the products that there is, right? Google Meets, Google Drive, yourbrand.com. We have thhcorporate.com, email addresses, and it's other apps like Viber. I mean, imagine in HRRAC, Gene, I have to give it to you, right? I mean, how many Viber apps that do we have, right? So we have, I think maybe 3 or 4, right? And that's your way of communicating to all of us, right? And how about conference call apps, right? Like Zoom and Google Hangouts, right? So those have become necessities now, and also platforms like cloud-based systems, right? Like what? Like a property management system. Everything has moved to the cloud, and it's made it into a subscription model. Also, our accounting systems like QuickBooks are also now, we're trying to move them to the cloud. We're also trying to move into to online banking, right? So gone are the days where it's all checks and vouchers, but now it's disbursing via online banking, right? So there, I'm here again as one of you, and I'm thankful for connectivity. I'm thankful for the online platforms that are there for us to use. And yes, we are in the midst of the storm, but as we all know, right, the hotels are all long-term businesses, right? So these endeavors are really long-term endeavors, right? And I believe in Cebu. I believe in Cebu Island, Cebu City, right? I believe in Central Visayas. I believe in the beauty of the Philippines, right? So I think Art would be the best, the best person to talk about that, right? I believe in the potential of the Philippines for tourism, really, and we have to look at this long term, right? But we have to weather the storm, and then we have to prepare for the eventual lifting of these quarantines. And when these quarantines are lifted, hopefully we are all stronger because of this this 3 months that we've been together, that we've been planning and thinking of things on how to move our businesses forward. So there, I mean, I wanted to keep it short and sweet. So thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much for sharing your inputs, Hanky. Actually, in fact, I would like to congratulate you for also braving that storm in adapting to technology, putting millennial touch in your business, and you're able to adapt, right? This is very, we see the confidence in you, the bringing in technology in your business, in your hotels, and that's very inspiring. Like what Brian mentioned in his presentation, one of the key players is the um, the owners or decision makers needs to imbibe the technology acceptance so that they can give that technology or digital experience to their customers. So that's very good. And as we mentioned, that it is a privilege for us here in this webinar to have one of our very important person to share the insights, guidelines about tourism. So I would like to bring in currently the Undersecretary of Department of Tourism for Tourism Regulation, Coordination and Resource Generation, or TRCRG. The TRCRG sector oversees the operation of 16 regional tourism offices all over the country. The Office of Tourism Standards and Regulation, which involves business accreditation, service and quality management, and the Office of the Industry Manpower Development, which is in charge of capacity building and skills training. It is our pleasure to bring in Undersecretary Arturo P. Boncato. Sir Art, it's very nice to have you on our webinar. So actually, this webinar session is being hosted also by HRRAC. And tomorrow, we will have one at 2 p.m. with Dole. We will be having our Dole resource person, Minis Yatshon, at 2 p.m. tomorrow again. And the HRRAC admin will give you the links
Hi,
on your...
Carmela.
Yes.
I'm sorry I couldn't hear you. There's something wrong with my connection, but can you hear me?
Very much, I think, but I cannot see you.
Wait,
There you are, looking so dandy.
so sorry.
Yeah. Oh, I think you're still on mute. And can we have some technical assistance from CAF?
I can't hear you.
There. Can you hear us now? Hi, Sir Art. Can you acknowledge?
Maybe Carlo can go ahead first because I couldn't hear you. I can proceed with the presentation without hearing you. Is that fine with everybody?
Let's try. Let's see. Probably while probably we'll give you, because our president will just give his message and we can go back to you.
You're wrong. Because what I can do, I can leave and enter again, and maybe Carlo can proceed.
Yeah, we can do that as long as you come back, Yusek. We really want to hear from you, and most of our members would want to hear from your input, especially the situation that we have. So
I leave and then come back. Thank you.
Okay. So we just have to proceed. We're encountering some technical challenges for our connections, probably in Manila. So may we have our most honored and beloved president, hardworking president, Mr. Carlos Suarez. Mr. President, you may have the floor.
Good afternoon. Maayong hapon natong tanan. Yeah, I'll be talking about what HRRAC and Globe, what we have done through this COVID crisis, what are our best practices. I'd like to share to our members that we at HRRAC, the board of directors of HRRAC, is very happy that we're all intact, we're one. We communicate through the new norm and through Viber, which is very easy, not like before that we used to use emails. Email now is for secondary, primary, Viber. Most of us are on the phone. as what in the first presentation of Brian, about 73% are all in the phone. So they're all using social media, all those Facebook and Viber, WhatsApp applications. Throughout these 2 months, we have challenges, ups and downs, especially with this ongoing crisis we have, the COVID-19. Like for Cebu now, we've been back from GCQ to ECQ. So all our businesses are, well, some of the hotels are temporarily closed, some are temporarily open. But again, despite these challenges, this will make Cebuanos, or this will make our businesses stronger. So our best practices is we've been well, the best highlight for these 2 months is really the internet. We'd like to say thank you with Globe for HRRAC. They're powering our office. At the same time, with this connection, with this internet connection, it made us together. With the advent of Zoom as well, it gave us the opportunity to stay together. With this crisis, we've been working closely with the Department of Tourism, and we are very happy that Second USEC Art Moncato is here with us. He will explain DOT, the future, what we expect for tourism. At the same time, for DOH, all our properties are following the DOH protocols since last March. So we'd like to emphasize stricter implementation of that, especially now in Cebu City, that all our cases has gone up. So in Cebu now, our market is more on the domestic tourism. Despite this pandemic, without the internet, it would be another ball game. So with the advent of internet, at least we are not. It keeps us busy, and with this webinar, it keeps us busy. That we, even though we're work from home or work from the hotel, we can still do business and connect to our family and friends. So for us right now, we're the industry together with the DOT and Globe. Our direction is going on contact tracing. The DOT has endorsed a contact tracing application in which all of the properties, not only in Cebu, but the rest in the Philippines, should apply, because COVID right now is free, especially on some parts of Cebu. We're on GCQ. Again, I'd just like to say thank you for this opportunity again, Globe, and thank you members for joining in this webinar. Without the advent of internet, without Globe, this wouldn't be possible, and we look forward in our future partnerships together. Thank you. Thank you, Carmela.
Thank you, Mr. President. And probably this is also my opportunity to thank the support of our board in HRRAC and the members for doing their very best in keeping things afloat, especially for the board in endorsing webinar sessions. This is very much useful. So for our final speaker, may we have USEC Art. I hope everything's good to go, sweet and sad.
Yes, thank you, Carmela. Thank you
Right.
for bearing with me. Good afternoon, everybody. Maayong hapon sa atong tanan, to Carlo, Chris, Carmela, to Hanky, William, and Kathleen, and Carlene helping me. Thank you very much for this opportunity on behalf of Secretary Berna Romulo Puyat. And I would just like to share with you a quick presentation about what the Department of Tourism has been doing to, of course, to roll out certain standards that would help us moving forward, especially in the tourism industry. But before that, I would just like to just thank the speakers before me because there are some key takeaways, as Hanky would put it. And I think this is the irony of it all, that we're really physically separated from each other, but we're even more connected and more than ever, you know. So that is the kind of some sort of a phenomenon that we spend so much hours actually beyond the regular working hours connecting to each other, which is, I think, a good thing, and can be a bad thing sometimes, depends on how you use your time. But being connected and being networked and being seamless in our operations is, I think, what this crisis has given us, moving us to a genuine digital age here, not only here in the Philippines, but all over the country. But to proceed, just like with our sharing, I'd just like to share with everybody that upon the directive of the Secretary Puyat, we launched our Safety First Tourism program with normal and health safety guidelines, really geared towards specific sectors of the industry, starting with accommodation enterprises, tourist transportation, and restaurants. And we're extending all the way to giving standards for MICE facilities, travel and tour operations with tour guides, even to a point of giving standards for our island and beach destinations and tourist attractions. No, that would include parks, historical sites, and even museums. And we did it by actually doing research and looking at best practices around the world, putting it together, doing public consultations, especially among our stakeholders, and um, of course, vetting to have a real legal review and approval of of our principles, of our principle primarily in rolling out these standards. So these standards that I shared initially would cover at least 10 new norms that you already know. So from mandatory use of protective gear to availability of sanitation kits to limitation of in terms of capacity in our venues and our meeting facilities, and even contactless transactions, no? All the way to contactless greetings that the Department of Tourism is also espousing. So in all of the standards that we are rolling out, and aside from the 6 or 7 sets that we're actually rolling out, some have been rolled out and soon to be rolled out, would have all of these 10 new norms as part of it. And when it comes to contactless transactions, we're just happy to share with everybody that it is highly, really encouraged. If you look at the standards, from the point of booking, from the origin of the guest to actual payment in the hotel or resort or restaurant, that is highly encouraged in our set of standards. Contactless cleaning is also a major part of our standards. What used to be maybe a standard in the hospital setting is now actually now a standard in the hotel setting, meaning that we have upgraded our way of really doing things in the accommodation sector. Our contactless greeting is all based on the Filipino brand of service. So we discourage, of course, touching and beso-beso at this time, but we do have this gesture in the Filipino brand of service espoused by the DOT by saying mabuhay, putting your right hand on your heart and expressing that kind of greeting, which is very, very Filipino in so many ways. Online learning is also a major priority of the department. The secretary launched this in September, and since then we've had a total of 21 webinars so far, and our attached agencies like the Intramuros Administration and Tourism Promotions Board have actually launched their own online training sessions and even virtual tours. So collectively, as of today, we've already reached more than 1 million viewers and learners put together, you know, and that is a major achievement in the department, which has not used online learning at all. And one last item that we would like to share with you moving forward is the rollout of our online accreditation system. This is really in line with the Ease of Doing Business Act of the national government, and this is also really putting everything online. This is not catching up, but actually some sort of leapfrogging to the future. And we managed to actually limit the steps into just 3 steps. and online accreditation can be brought to your smartphone, and the only face-to-face transaction would be you picking up your signed certificate of accreditation, and the rest is going to be done online. So these are the things that the department is actually in various stages of rolling out. And the message this afternoon to share with everybody is that the government is also trying to keep pace with how the private sector is doing. And what the crisis has done is that it has really pushed us to be of the same level with everybody. So after things have come to a new normal, when in a post-COVID scenario, we will see a more robust and prayerfully a more prosperous tourism industry in the Philippines. And one last takeaway that I would like to share with you about this crisis is that despite the difficulty that we're experiencing now, that does not really change the beauty of our country. In fact, our destinations are probably more beautiful today than it was before COVID. So maraming salamat, dagang salamat sa atong tanan.
Thank you, USEC Art, for summarizing the 10 guidelines, which is very important. I hope we can get a copy, the admin office of HR can get a copy of the presentation so we can share it to our
Sure.
members. And one important thing that you mentioned is the procedure of accreditation, which is being leapfrogged. That's going to be a milestone for majority of the hotel industry now. I mean, putting the application on the hands of smartphones and technology, that would be great. So actually, we're moving towards the end of the program. Again, this webinar is recorded and documented for the purpose of sharing and documentation. But let me remind you that there will be an e-raffle and get the chance to win 1,000 giveaways. So make sure you have your GCash accounts. We also would like to invite you to answer our post-survey questionnaire. Just scan the QR code flash on your screen. There will be a QR code flash on the screen, and we will provide a 200 giveaway to those who will answer our survey. But please note that you should have attended the webinar from the first to the end. So kindly take a photo. Parang ako din ata, I want, di ba? But later on, I will do that. Because we will proceed to the next and most interesting part, which is the Q&A portion. So for the Q&A portion, may we request you to just post your questions on the chat box and address it to Carlene, and she will pass it on to me. But I agree with what Yusek mentioned and Hanky, that in times of this pandemic, there's one Mother Nature was able to benefit from this. So meaning our beaches became, we gave a break to the beaches, to our falls, to make it more beautiful in time for our opening. So I have a question here, probably for one of the consultants can answer. What are the business solutions that will help the restaurant industry to quickly adapt to the new norm? So we have restaurant members. What would be our tips for our restaurant owners? Can we have any of our Globe consultants answer that?
Hi. Some of the technologies that you can use for restaurants, especially imposing social distancing, is really using a mobile technology, right? Seats reservations, that's one. Next is integrate your cashless transaction or cashless systems so that it will be contactless. You can also use QR code to digitize your menu. Instead of physical menu like the paper, you can use QR code for your digital menu, and you can also use QR code for your payments.
Right, right.
Right?
Thank you very much, William, for those tips. In fact, you were able to share anything else from the panelists who would like to.
Very quickly, maybe Carmela, because the secretary has, if you allow me, the
Yes.
secretary has shared also in earlier meetings we had a certain privilege for DOT accredited enterprises. It's just access to a some sort of a platform that it's a private company that we're working with that also promotes it's an incident management platform, also a space planning platform that really manages, of course, how people enter a certain facility, maybe a restaurant or hotel or even a meeting facility, and also another one that really digitizes, as mentioned um, by William earlier, digitizes even the menu, and that can afford some sort of an advanced reservation and ordering, so that interaction with individuals once you sit down in the restaurant are really greatly minimized, and therefore we contribute to this environment of being safe
Right.
while we are enjoying our food.
Yes. Yes, USEC Art. In fact, I think HRAC was able to have a webinar session with accredited or endorsed
That's
uh,
right. You had it
yeah,
early,
last week.
late last week. Yes, that's right.
Yes, yes. That was endorsed by VP Alfred and President Carlos. So we had the webinar. And of course, for those members who missed that, we will post that in our HRAC page. I have a question for USEC Art. The theme for our tourism now is safety first tourism. I think that is the battle cry of the hotels now. Would you want to expound on this and just remind, especially our hotel owners and general managers listening to us, that safety is very important? But will the guidelines be coming from DOT, or what will be the next step for us?
Yes, that's our banner, but the guidelines have already been issued. Actually, the first three ones, we have memorandum circulars on accommodation, tourist transport, and restaurants already. We're about to release one for MICE facilities,
Right.
travel and tours and tour guides, and then tour destinations. I just like to just maybe underscore this, that moving forward, um, gaining confidence and trust of travelers is paramount to our effort in succeeding in tourism. And as our secretary has put it, and even some leaders outside of the Philippines, trust is going to be the main currency for tourism. People wouldn't buy anything online to a destination they do not trust.
Right.
So by showing everybody that we are safe and we have the measures that are really stringent to a point that it's highly acceptable to many markets, it's only then we can rebuild confidence of travelers to the Philippines. Even Filipinos among ourselves, diba? You see local government units, even if they're already on modified GCQ, have decided not to reopen because they're not confident that they can address the concern once it goes out of hand. So those are the things that we need to be mindful of at this point. Really strike a balance between economic concerns and safety.
Yes. Another follow-up question that we have here, Yusek, is at this moment, do we already have at least a long-term plan for tourism revival? And if we can go deeper, any long-term plans, especially for Cebu, which is in a loan standing ECQ status? So what are the things that you can share?
In broad strokes, of course, the secretary has also stated this: the domestic tourism will be the catalyst to um, reviving tourism in the Philippines today. She's also mentioned about the concept of identifying travel bubbles. These are destinations with very manageable cases and maybe very good record of um, primary care, critical care, and a very willing local government to accept tourists. So those are the indicators that we're looking for to identify these areas and link them with other destinations of the same level of success in managing cases, etc.
Yeah.
So that is the only way we can restart everything, focused on certain destinations. As to their last question, I think the easy answer is that we have to upgrade ourselves to a modified GCQ. Unfortunately, we're back, at least Cebu City, unfortunately, we're back to an ECQ situation. We really have to cooperate with the national government, with the local government, and make sure that we get upgraded to a better quarantine scenario than where we are today. That's the only way to do it.
Thank you very much, Music Secretary Art. I have a question also for Mr. Hanky Lee. I see that you're a brand builder. With this kind of situation. Did you ever feel a downpour of inspiration, or kung sa Bisaya pa nahugno? Nahugno ba ka sa imong negosyo?
Carmela, we say downpour of inspiration. Actually, it's this pandemic has really led me to think about my commitment to the tourism industry and the hospital, and basically into hotels also and resorts, right? Because we just like I mentioned, we have Cebu, we have Manila. We were supposed to open in Dumaguete, and we were supposed to open and manage also other properties, right? And really, given this pandemic, it tested my commitment really. Until now, it tests my commitment. And my answer to you now, Carmela, is it's the inspiration is actually commitment. I'm committed again to the Philippines. Well, Art left na, diba? So I believe in the beauty again of the country. I believe in Cebu City. Again, I said that. I believe in the Central Visayas as the next tourism destination in the Philippines, aside from Palawan. And I stand here committed to showcase the beauty of the Philippines.
Right. Very well said and very inspiring. A true ambassador as spoken nga naman pala. Sir Hanky,
it's the truth.
yeah, that's why we have a lot of owners and GMs who are feeling that sad state or depression state, but here you are smiling and still giving a good boost to the tourism industry. And to mention also, the Globe consultants will be staying behind for any additional consultation that you need, especially for your GCash. So now, thank you, panelists, for sharing your insights. We truly appreciate it. Do we have any other questions so we can proceed to education? Okay. Now, before we close the session, we will draw. This is the part. We will draw the lucky winners for those who signed up and joined our webinar. Each winner will receive 1,000 pesos giveaways through GCash account. We will use your names of those who already pre-registered. So as I've mentioned earlier, that there will be a lucky draw and you registered before you joined. So this is Globe Pangkabuhayang Spin a Wheel. Wow, we have Michael. Another technology that we have here. We have Mark. So we have Maria Hope Daitol. Congratulations. We will contact the lucky winners for your prizes and redemption. For those who did not win the raffle, you will still have the chance to receive 200 pesos gift away through Globe GCash from Globe My Business by simply answering the post-event survey form. Just scan the QR code being flashed on the screen right now. Again, you must have attended the full session of the webinar. So kindly scan the QR code and then answer the survey, and you can get the chance to win 200 giveaways. So may we request for a short message from closing message from our panelists. May we start with William? Any
Okay.
short message? Yes.
So for those who want to adopt digital transformation, what I could advise you is start first with your vision and strategy, and then also understand your customers. And from there, you will be able to formulate your roadmap for your transformation. There.
Thank you also, William, for your thoughtful information and digital statistic for putting science. So can we have Kathleen from GCash?
Yes, I guess for me, I cannot overemphasize what everybody's been saying in terms of ensuring safety as we transition to the new normal, but not only of our customers, but also for our employees. And we can do this by leveraging on technology. So very specific to, for example, on cashless or digital payments, I think this is something that's very ripe already. So it's a matter of establishments and companies adopting this kind of technology for their customers as well as for their employees.
And for our Vice President for Hotels, may we have your parting words, Mr. Hanky Lee?
It's really in these times, COVID has brought a lot of uncertainty and challenges. Are we prepared? Are we prepared for the future? That's also the question I always ask myself.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. And of course, on behalf of HRRAC and Globe, we would like to thank Yusek Art Boncato for joining us. But he had to leave because he had to attend to some urgent matters in the Department of Tourism. So for the parting words, of course, may we call in our President of HRRAC, Mr. Carlos Suarez, to give his message.
Yeah, I'd like to take this opportunity to extend our heartfelt thank you to Globe My Business for partnering with HRRAC, and thank you HRRAC members for being present in all our webinars. Please expect more webinars coming from HRRAC. We have at least once a week for webinar activity. We want to share our ideas, our expertise, our suppliers, so that we are aware of these packages and promos, as well as Globe. I for one is a GCash user, so it's very good. Contactless. We have to go contactless now. And for Cebu, hopefully July will be GCQ again. We'll be back to business. I'd like to say, stay home, stay safe, and stay healthy. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. May we remind everyone that for those who would like to stay on and listen to the Globe consultants, kindly stay on for a breakout session. So please, and do not log out yet for a breakout session, how to set up your cashless transactions. There will be a Globe representative to assist you. SMEs on days when you need to learn more tips and tricks on running your business, or just being inspired by success stories of SMEs like you, check out the Globe My Business Academy online by visiting mybusinessacademy.ph. And Globe My Business has a lot of events to support, like HRRAC, our dear SME. So watch out for the news on Globe My Business Facebook page for all our Saludos sa SME events. Watch out for the invitation on June 25 on the Globe My Business page. We highly encourage to sign up for our special free one-on-one consultation with their partners from Entrepreneurs Organization. Learn more from established business owners. Abagan niyo po. Limited slots ito. Get a chance to be part of this one-on-one lifetime experience. And on days when you are ready to upgrade your business with more technology, you can go to Globe website for our products and business solution, or contact your assigned account managers, or dial 121 from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Mondays to Fridays. Again, ang Globe My Business ay sumasaludo sa ating mga Pinoy SMEs na nananatiling bukas at pakikisama sa inyo sa pagharap ng pagbabagong bukas. Tomorrow, I would like to remind you that HRRAC would like to have another webinar with Dole at 2 p.m. Our admin will be sending the link to your respective email address, so I hope you can join us. I am Carmela Malagar, and we wish everyone to please stay safe and take care. Thank you very much for joining us.
Hi guys, I'm trying to share my screen, but I can't. All right. Hello, good afternoon. So let me share my screen. All right. Oh, sorry. There you go. Can everybody see my screen? Okay. So let's start. Right. So everybody saw Len's presentation earlier, right? So we are GCash, and the vision is to have a cashless society within the Philippines, right? So we uh, are actually our parents are Globe and Financial and Ayala. And then we are actually utilizing ANT's technology for all of our services right now. So what we have here is the ecosystem that we want to build. So we start first with the inflow of funds, meaning before we can do any transactions, we put in our money to the GCash wallet. So that can be in the form of remittance or bank cash ins or payroll. So it was mentioned that we have the PowerPay Plus disbursement facility. So that's part of our payroll solution. And then once the funds are inside the wallet, we have our daily transactions. So this would include the send money functionality, bank transfers, mobile top up. So these are the prepaid load and the gaming pins and whatnot, and even pay bills. No? And part of our lifestyle services is our QR payment. So this is where the hotels and restaurants would come in. So they would accept, you guys accepting GCash payments for your customers. And then aside from QR payments, we have our online shopping, book movies and vouchers. And then the last part, our financial services, is actually what I think differentiates us from all the other services available there. No? So other e-payment services, because we have our G-Save. So we partnered with CIMB to have this. So we have 3.1% interest per annum. And then we have the G-Invest. So we partnered also with Atram for this one. And then unique to us is actually having our trust score or credit or equivalent of us having credit score, you know, for our users. So the more you use your GCash for transactions such as QR payments, buy load, and whatnot, the higher your trust score is. That trust score then is translated into a G credit. So meaning even if you don't have enough funds in your GCash, you can still do some transactions because you have a credit line, right? So jumping into the payments solution that we have, the most ready use case that we have is actually our QR payments. So if you guys are familiar with this one, when you go to SM or to Jollibee or some of the retail partners, existing retail partners that we have, these are the codes that you see on the cashier that the customer needs to scan to do the payment transaction. So there's no physical cash involved, no more suklet needed, and that's basically freeing up for any petty cash or revolving funds needed. No? So our QR payments is very safe. There's no lockup period, and it's just the merchant discount rate is just 2% versus usually the credit cards would have 3 to 4%. No? And then also part of the package is the free merchandise. So aside from the standees that you see on the right side, we also have GCash accepted here, and some of the restaurants that we partnered with, they can use the stickers, the QR stickers inside their billfold. No? So efficient and safe way to do transactions because the customer just scans the code and enters the amount. There's usually kasi we encounter some partners who would give their GCash number, and then sometimes that's very prone to error. No? So this one is very secure. And before I forget anything else, just take note that GCash is regulated by BSP. So we follow all the rules and regulations by BSP as well. So you have with QR payments, you have instant access to our more than 20 million GCash subscriber base nationwide. And actually, it's been growing since this pandemic has happened. So everybody is now going digital. So these are examples of how the QR is implemented in the different partners that we have. So the standard way to implement is to have the face-to-face transaction. You put it in your cashier or where the people will pay you, and then instead of the customer giving you cash rather, they just scan the code and enter the amount that they need to pay. So that's the first option. Now, with the situation that we have, not everybody has the leisure of having face-to-face transactions, but they still need to accept payments, right? So maybe some of the restaurants are not open yet, but they do accept takeout. So here's an example of how a school did their tuition payments. No, so basically, if you have a Facebook account or any social media account or your website, you just post your QR code that we give you, and then there's a step-by-step process lang that you can give to your customers. No, so after, for example, for a restaurant, after they order and you assign them, like, say, a reference number, they just go to your Facebook page, scan the code, and then send the screenshot of that one, or just even the reference number to the cashier, no, and say, hey, I already paid using my GCash, and here's the reference number. And the cashier can just validate, because she also would have received an SMS notification, right? So these two are examples of how to use your social media sites for any payment acceptance. All right, so here are some other options as well. So creative ways of using your QR code. So now it's just not limited to having the physical store, and there, that's where you place your QR codes. It's even in social media. So another and here's also like one of our most recent updates, rather, is before, when you do scan your QR code, you needed to have two devices. For example, I'm using two phones, or maybe I'm using my laptop. So I will use my GCash app and scan my laptop to be able to do the transaction. But now I can actually just screenshot that same QR code and save it in my phone's gallery. And then if you see here on the second screen, upload QR code from the gallery. And then it will jump right to the fourth screen, wherein you just need to input the amount that you need to pay, right? So it's a similar experience if you guys use BPI QR. So that's how it's happening now. So the experience is that both the customer and the frontliner or the cashier will receive an SMS notification. If you will take note here, the reference number is the same for both transactions. So that I mentioned earlier that the customer can just message the cashier that, hey, this is the reference number for my GCash payment. So just the reference number is enough. They don't need to screenshot the whole thing and send it. So this is both real-time notification for both merchant and customer. And then afterwards, so all of the funds will be sent to a virtual merchant wallet. And then, so all transactions from, say, 12 midnight today until 11:59 p.m. today will be settled to your preferred bank account. So if the day is Tuesday, we will settle it on a Wednesday. So that means also that if it's a Friday, the settlement will be done on Monday because it's the next banking day. No? But for the consolidated transaction reports, we send that daily, regardless if it's a holiday or a weekend. So the transaction report contains all the details per transaction. So if you have, say, 100 payments for the day, the report will reflect 100 payments and the details involved. So this is a sample of that as well. So this is the flow for the merchants. No? So the customer will pay 100 pesos via GCash QR. And then, so that fund is settled to a virtual wallet. And then before we settle the 100 pesos to the merchant's wallet, we deduct already the 2% merchant discount rate. So the net settlement amount is 98 pesos. So that's the following day. And it's done on a daily basis. So for scan to pay, here's the list of requirements that you need. So if you're, so of course you need to have your DTI or SEC, BIR registrations, and additional documents if you are a corporation, so such as the articles and bylaws and whatnot. And then you have a list of GCash onboarding documents as well. So of course you have the contract and the application form, and then you have the batch registration form or the branch registration form. So if example, a restaurant has multiple branches, you will indicate it in this form as well. And then of course you have to have a proof of bank so that we will know where to settle the amount. Next service that we have is the disbursement platform, what we call the PowerPay Plus platform. It's an online facility wherein you can upload your payout for salary allowances, commissions, or cash advances, revolving fund. So with GCash, the good thing is that we don't need a maintaining balance for you to open a GCash account, for a corporate GCash account rather. And application takes 5 days now. Just so that means within 5 days, we will give you a virtual account and access to the portal as well, right? Flexible and configurable platform because we can do scheduled payouts, recurring payouts. We can do multi-level approval processes in the portal as well. So you just need to inform us what type of approval process you want done. Right? Easy to use because, as mentioned, we have real-time payouts, meaning if I approve now within minutes, my employees will receive their payroll. Or we have scheduled wherein I approve today, but the actual payout will be done on a Friday. And then recurring payments is when for your employees, for example, they receive regular allowances, maybe rice allowances or whatnot. So you can just schedule that one time and then it will be recurring for the next 12 months. Centralized platform for enrollment and disbursement because you will just upload everything in this one portal. So enrollment would mean the information of your employees, and then within the same platform, you can disburse to them as well. So the access for the portal is limited. It will be up to you guys who will be nominated to access the portal. It's usually the HR plus finance people. And disbursements such as cash, such as salaries, allowances, reimbursement, emergency funds, and loans. So if you're doing manual or cash releases today, we can process that in our portal because this is basically just a disbursement portal. No? So you will just need to upload an Excel file with the mobile number, the name of the employee, and the net amount that you need to see. So here's the overview of the process. So before you can, once you've signed up with us, you just need to, we'll give you access to the portal, and then you need to enroll your payees. So payees are what we call the employee or the target recipients of our disbursement. So these may be employees, members, agents, what have you. And so you upload their information in the portal. So that would include the mobile number, first name, last name, address, birth date. And then even the valid ID and selfie and signature of the employee. And then afterwards, after you've successfully enrolled them, then you can disburse to them. So this just means that if, for example, I have 100 employees today enrolled to the portal, I can only disburse to them. But for example, suddenly I have 105 in my disbursement file or bank file, equivalent bank file. The system will check that there is 5 employees that's not part of your list yet. So that's part of our security as well. And so once you have disbursed that, your employee will receive an SMS notification that they receive money from you. So option to have a ATM attached to the GCash account, or if, for example, they are banked already, they can just transfer it to their preferred bank, or better yet, start using it to pay for their bills, remittance to their parents or family, and what have you. So here's the different use cases that we have for GCash. No? So most popular right now actually is the send money. So that means sending from one GCash account to another, and it's free. And then we have pay bills. So this would include our telco bills and even our electricity and water bills as well, credit card, insurance, we have it. And then we have our buy load service as well. So this is our prepaid load or pins and what have you. And then we also have, as Len mentioned earlier, we have exclusive SKUs in our GCash app. So this just means that if you go to a loading station, that SKU will not be available to them. It's only via GCash app. And then we have the bank transfers. So we can transfer to more than 35 banks that's linked to InstaPay. So even, example, I can just send to Carmela. If I have her bank account, from my GCash account, I can send it to her BPI account because she doesn't have a GCash account, right? So that's an option also. And it's free. So win-win situation, right? And then we have our QR payments and shop online. So QR is what we offer you guys. So they just scan your code and then they can pay already. Or for example, if you guys do online shopping, you can link your GCash to Google Pay, Apple Pay, Lazada, Shopee, Zalora, what have you. So we're all connected to those sites. They can do their shopping there, and as long as their GCash has enough funds, the transaction will proceed. And then we have GSave and our GCredit. So here are some examples of our partner merchants nationwide. So cash in is the equivalent of having deposit to your account. So as mentioned, the inflow of funds. So you can do this through offline channels such as 7-Eleven, Bayad Center, Cebuana, Palawan, and all of that, or through online channels like linking your BPI and Union Bank to your app, or linking your Visa, MasterCard, debit card to your GCash account. We also have MoneyGram and Western Union, meaning you can claim your remittance using the GCash apps without you having to go to a Western Union branch and waiting in line. So for our pay bills, so these are just example of our top merchants, no? But Cebu, if I remember correctly, Deco is part of our list as well. And then we have Scan to Pay merchants. So these are just our nationwide partners, but hopefully after this session, you guys will be included in our Scan to Pay merchants. And of course, our shop online. So for PowerPay Plus, so the beauty of this is that the company has easier access, has easier time to disbursing to their employees, and the employees themselves would have the opportunity to do cashless transactions already because their payroll is directly sent to GCash already. They don't need to withdraw it 100%. They can just use their GCash to do their transactions already, their daily transactions. So similarly to what's required for the business documents for STP, and then for GCash onboarding documents, we just have a little bit of difference with Scan to Pay because we collect the information of the employees. So there's just the data privacy and the KYC outsourcing agreement, right? So if you guys are interested, feel free to send me an email, or if not, you can just message your SG account manager and then they will coordinate with us. So hopefully you learned something today. Hope we get to hear from you guys soon. And let's see if you have any questions. So any questions from the group? I don't see any questions. All right. So if there's none from your end, hopefully I was able to answer all of your inquiries in your head while they were presenting. So hope to hear from you guys soon.